Welcome back to this new episode of the Business Mom Compass. Today we are talking about why you can be fully qualified and still feel not ready to be seen, and how to work through that doubt and start showing up anyway. Welcome back. If you ever question whether you are experienced enough, visible enough, or confident enough to grow your online business, this conversation is going to hit home. In this episode, you will learn how to start showing up online before you feel fully ready, how to overcome imposter syndrome even as an expert in your field, and how to build trust, confidence, and loyal community by sharing your knowledge authentically. And to help me unpack all of this, I'm joined by Olivia Bates, founder of Nourishing Bubbs, a brand helping parents take the stress out of starting solids by making baby nutrition simpler, safer, and more empowering. But behind the brand and your strong online community is a story so many women will relate to. The fear of being visible, the pressure of putting yourself out there, and learning to back yourself before you feel ready. This episode is for every mom sitting on an ID, message that the world needs to hear, but who's still hesitating to be seen. Olivia, welcome to the Business Mom Compass.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have you, Olivia. I know you for a few months now, and I always wanted to have you in the show, so I'm very happy for you to be here. Before we start talking about your experience and what your experience with imposter syndrome as well and visibility fear, can you tell me why you decided to launch Nourishing Bubbs?
Yeah, sure. So I had become a dietitian I graduated in 2013. But before that, I actually really wanted to be a pediatrician. But I've always loved babies, very passionate about that space. But I actually used to have really bad exam anxiety. And so that really put me off, and I was like, I don't know if I can go through like all those years. Obviously it's a really long journey. I also was a very passionate cook, but probably smartly my parents said, you know what, like, why don't you keep that as something for you to enjoy? So I guess in a way I feel like I put like medical with food to become a dietitian. And then I had worked for an almond milk company for a couple of years, and it was very much startup, and I guess I got to understand like the food industry, and I became really interested. I also, from my time, I did a internship at Arnott's and learnt about the ability to, I guess, alter the food supply. And I know that, it makes me sound bigger than I am, but it's, just obviously I could see one-on-one patients and have an impact on one person's life. But, for example, when you're at Arnott's, like they're working on things like, gradually over years lowering the sugar content of tiny teddies and things like that. I'm like, what if I could like alter the baby food supply? And I think at the time it was very much, shelf-stable squeezies and jars of puree. So, when I came up with this idea, we're like sort of 2015, 2016, and it was all very much that. And I was like, I would not feed that to, like, I wouldn't eat that. So why would I go and feed that to my baby? And so I guess I was like, let's just like take it back to basics. And I did some extra study into pediatrics. And I was like, even in the almond milk company, I was like, let's do something for kids. Let's make, kids almond milk. Like I was always leaning that way. So I think, that's really how I sort of fell into it. There was just, I felt like a real gap for like real food, taking it back to basics. And I also found when you look online, and obviously, on like the online wasn't as big then, but I think, it's worse now, but it was just so much overwhelming information. I had done a lot of babysitting, and I knew from parents like, they're just coming out of the depths of sleep deprivation, and then suddenly it's like, okay, starting solids, but then there's, really contradictory opinions on it, and it's like 4 months, 6 months, no, do this, do that. And, experts are saying this. You've got your pediatrician saying one thing and your GP saying another thing, and then your mother-in-law, chimes in as well, and you're like, I don't know who to believe, what to believe. And it's not, I think I should highlight, like, it's not necessarily that they're wrong, but, the science has evolved, and that's something to know about science. Like it evolves. So, yes. It's changed, and the recommendations have changed. And so your well-meaning mother-in-law, like, the reality is she fed your partner, 35 years ago. So, like, let's just silence that. Things have changed. But, so I think I just really wanted to cut through the clutter there, and I wanted to make it easy because it's such an important time. And so, yeah, that's really where it was born.
So you are a pediatric nutritionist, you said it. You were already qualified. What stopped you from showing up sooner?
Yeah, and this is such a great question, and I think I've really been doing quite a bit of work on this lately. But I think also particularly with maybe the pediatric space, I got really nervous about it. Like, you know, I had done a bit of weight loss coaching and weight loss. I've seen some clients for that. But when it came to babies, they're just so precious, and I got really anxious about it. And to this day, I've seen a couple of private clients, but, you know, people would reach out to me and I would just almost ignore the email. Like, I'd be like, no, not doing it, because
too risky.
I was worried about doing something wrong. Like, I think even the way when parents parent, they're like, I don't want to get anything wrong. It's like this new chance. I got really nervous about it, and it just self-doubt, like just the self-doubt crept in, and I was like, and then I really retreat. I'm like, okay, you know, and I don't even deal with it head on. I just don't reply. Like, that's what I would do. Like, this is years ago. And I mean, now I guess I'm a bit more public health focused. I don't do one-on-ones, but part of the reason is that I'm like, God, and I'm not a doctor. So it's, you know, nothing I would do would be life or death, but it still made me really nervous.
Yes. But you're still very qualified, and
yes,
you know what you are talking.
Yes.
It's your job, you know, it's your thing.
And I did realize as I started to speak, you know, do a whole lot of intro to solids talks and things, you know, I realized how much more, you know, I did know a lot, and, you know, that they were just soaking up the information. I think also you forget it when it's inherent, the knowledge is inherent to you because you've learnt it. You're like, but this is so simple, they probably know it, they don't, you know, but the reality is no, they don't. So you know, and especially mums, they listen to you, they hold on to every word as well. So I was like, okay, I think I just felt like it's such a, just not wanting to get anything wrong. I think also that element of perfectionism, that I think maybe a lot of women have, you're like, okay, it must be perfect, it must be right, I want to know that, and I almost need that validation, you know, when you're at school, it's the double tick, and, you know, I want the teacher to tell me that I'm right before
you want permission to call yourself an expert, permission to tell you you are qualified.
And you don't get that unless you get some kind of award or whatever. You don't get that as an adult, and I it is something I struggle with. Whereas at school, it's constantly your things being marked, and so, you know, if you get a really good score, you're like, okay, I know, you get
I'm
that.
good.
Yeah, I'm good.
So how did you overcome that? It with time, with, you know, more public outing? How did it work?
I would say it's still very much a work in progress. I am still working on it now, but I think, you know, the only way is to start. You've just got to start, and that repeated behavior. And I think, as bad as it is, you know, when you, for example, put out, you know, information, so I, you know, try and do some educational content, and obviously on our social. And I think the more you do, also you realize, that's what people engage with. And I was like, okay, that's actually the content that people engage with the most on our, you know, online. Or it would be you know, at the beginning, I used to just do in-person not webinars, but in-person seminars.
Yes.
And more people started reaching out, asking for that. And I was like, okay, so obviously positive word is spreading. So it's sort of, I think the more you get asked, the more you realize, so then the more you do. So it's just it's practice, but the only way is to start. And realize it, it doesn't need to be perfect. And the nice thing is mums are such a nice, I feel, you know, it's a soft landing. You know, I was starting with mothers groups of friends, so, you know, maybe 10 mums, so it's, you know, keeping it really casual. So, you know, now sometimes I'll have you know, if I have a really big webinar, you know, 100 people, and it just, I mean, I was always good at public speaking. I think it's more just the, you know, the being the expert. And don't get me wrong, I remember once having, you know, someone criticize or something about something I'd said, and I had to defend my, it was written to a store that I'd gone and spoken at, and then I had to defend myself. And then I think I was like, no, I know this. Like,
Yes.
you sort of stand up for yourself.
Yes. So you mentioned it, you need to start.
Yeah.
The only way is start and practice. And then you will train basically your brain to realize that this is okay, this is not danger, you're capable, you are doing. This is not, the fear is not legitimate. You mentioned as well that you started sharing some educational content online and it works very well. You have a strong community. You have more than 60,000 followers on Instagram. What was the beginning when you start showing up online?
I actually don't even know what our first post was. I mean, I would say one of the wildest things that I ever did, and this was very much the early days, was I still laugh about it. I was talking about it the other day. Is I dressed up as a carrot, and and I'm not like a clown. Like, I'm not your class clown. So this was a big thing for me. My friend came with me, and she dressed up as a pea. I'd bought these outfits, and I'd put the logo on, like the website on the back. But we went down, and it was when Harry and Meghan Markle were here, and they just announced their pregnancy. And you can actually like Google it; it comes up. But I handed them a bunch of carrots, and I think the thing behind me is I'd like recently, like 3 months before, my dad had passed away and I was quite depressed. And I was like, I just need something to like get me up. And it was like, I felt like he like handed me this. He was like, you know what, like go do this. And like it went viral. It didn't like give me like my business accolades, but I was like, it was such a stupid, weird thing to do. But like for anyone that owns a business, just dressing up like really captures people's attention. Like it's so amazing. But I think, like I sort of, it's not something I would do before, but I think doing that and then, I had people in America and like, the UK be like, oh my God, we just saw this on the news. Like, was that you? And like the content was so funny. And I think it, it reinforced like sometimes just doing that stuff. And yes, like it's out of your comfort zone, but it, it's just putting yourself out there. I think also remembering if it's your brand, like people really want to see that. And if you like, they actually will listen to you more, like, a face behind it, a face talking to camera about something, like they're going to listen to you a lot more. Whereas, content that's just like, we put up obviously a lot of educational slides, but at the end of the day, the reels where I'm talking do much better. Like, and I don't know whether also that's the algorithm, but it's also just, like just sort of, it's, I don't know, it's like flexing a muscle. Like you've just got to over and over and over. So I don't really know, I guess, how we started, but I think, I mean, I've listened to a lot of podcasts where they're like, post consistently, and then eventually it just like,
it blew off.
It blows up. Like it'll be that one video that suddenly resonates with people. Like you'll be, and maybe it was actually like I've read this book called The Big Trust, which I'd highly recommend, and I'm listening to it again. But it's all about, like trusting yourself and building that like self-trust, etc. And it talks about when they started their Instagram, they just were like, we're just going to post every day for like 20 days. And now, now they have millions of followers.
Yes.
Like it's
you need to start somewhere. That's a thing. And I think you need to stay consistent. Whatever your schedule is, if you cannot post every day, don't post every day. But if you can post 3 times a week, every week, yes, eventually it will pay off. It's difficult sometimes because you post and you have like 0 likes, it's dead, and you're like, oh, what am I doing? But I feel like it's a good opportunity as well to try everything.
And try different ways, like try different forms. Like some things will land and some things won't land. And like and also because the algorithm's constantly changing, and I don't speak algorithms speak, but like I just know that, what used to work might not work anymore. And so, just different types of content, shorter content, longer content, faster content, whatever it is. I think it's just, it's definitely consistent and just over and over and just trying different formats and look what's like trending and, just, try different things, because you'll see, unfortunately, the annoying thing is then something, so they'll probably change it. So something else gets highlighted, which I find so annoying. But,
you need to keep
on top of it.
Constantly. It's crazy. But basically, so you dressed up as a carrot and a pea, and you went out there, and it has been viral because you were this, this pea and carrot near Meghan and Harry.
Yes, and like because Meghan was like, oh, look, honey, they gave us a bunch of carrots. And then it was like, was it because she had like the TIG, or is it because she's into organic food? And is it because he's a redhead? Like it was all these, these funny things. But I think also, look, like definitely like getting influencers involved and things like that. I like can't deny all of that stuff helps.
Yes.
But I think being authentic as well, like showing your face and being authentic, like people do like that, and they like following the story. I think even more so now, they like getting on the journey. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, because it's like you reach a certain size and you're like, should I step back so that it's not so dependent on me? Or should I show that even though we're like this size, you know, like last night I was like packing marketing material on my, on my floor, like, but I think people actually, sometimes people like that small, more than, they want to know, like I still answer DMs on our Instagram, and people like that they can get in touch with me. I think as soon as you're out of reach, you sort of become, people are like, oh, they're a big company, they've got VC now, they're like,
you are not relatable anymore, you know, they can't connect with you anymore. I think they really need to connect and relate with what you do, who you are. And I think that's really important to show the behind the scenes, even if they are like very small behind the scenes, like packing up things on the floor, whatever it is. People are on the journey, and people as well connect and relate with you. They're like, oh, she's like us. She's just building a business.
I think they want to know that, that it's within reach and it's achievable. Whereas as soon as you become out of reach, I think people lose a bit of interest. So if anything now, and you like, we're looking to start, I would say, take them on the journey from the absolute trenches. And I think even more so with mums, maybe. Like I find particularly that audience, because they're like, oh wow, like it's almost like they're my mums, like they're like, oh yay, like. And I've spoken at like for Western Australian like business school, and like even talking to them, and they were like, I got this feedback that was like, oh, we just want to like cheer her on, like, like they really resonate if they can see you. And I think just having you as almost like a touch point.
Absolutely. So what actually helps you build trust with your audience? Is this education part, showing up, showing your face?
Yes. I definitely think that. I also run, and something that I have done in the beginning, I always did, as I was saying, like mothers groups, intro to solids, and I've done, like I do it when people ask. And then it became, we did some like in-person ones, and then with COVID, we moved it to online, obviously. And that got better because suddenly I could reach, all of Australia. And then, now we run that, and I've kept that as part of it. It's just a free webinar that we run, but it means I can build rapport, I can build trust, like they see what I'm like as a person. And it's not a hard sell by any means, but I think because I can offer my knowledge, like my knowledge is my skill, like my power, and it, like I guess it's my time, but like, and like it's so easy for me, I don't need to prep for that anymore. Like I literally just show up on the webinar on the day, and I think it really builds that trust and rapport, establishes me as like the expert, and they get to know what I'm like as a person. And I think it's really, I always say, like the biggest thing for us has been grassroots. Like, yes, we have this social thing, but that has come from a fundamental grassroots also, because then, the great thing about mums is like they get on their mother's group chat and they send little DMs, or like we would host this webinar and then they will put it in the mother's group chat, and suddenly I get 10 more people. And so it is, for me, word of mouth is so important. So I think, you build that trust. We would host these events. We did some at Coogee Pavilion, and like, it would sell out so quickly because literally, they just, 6 people tell their mothers groups and I'm booked out. Yeah. So I think it is really about, showing up, showing your face. And if you have a skill or a knowledge, like share that for free. Like, and I've always said, people that we've had some advisors and they've said, can you monetize that? I was like, I just think it's just such a great marketing, like not even marketing, but it's just a way to build rapport before we're hard selling.
Yeah, 100%.
So just build the rapport first.
Yes.
And then hopefully, like, not that I'm trying to bribe them or anything, but, hopefully they'll then like, you know what, I really like Liv. I really trust her. I want to buy her product and I want to, so that's what it's about for me.
But I think, and you're right, I think it's so important. I do believe, especially now, and especially in your field and your industry, it's quite different. But people don't buy products anymore. They buy from people,
100%.
you know, and and they buy from people they believe won't let them down.
100%.
Yeah. And
I couldn't agree more. Like there's, you know, like for example, like I'll use the example of, you know, like those frozen berries that are covered in chocolate. And there's now a few brands doing it.
Yes.
But I actually met up with the girl who's the co-founder of Bomberry. And she was like so lovely. And so now I'm like an avid fan of Bomberry, and I will only buy that one, and there'll be other options that will be cheaper, and I'll be like, no. Like I support them. Like there's bigger international brands, and I'm like, no, I want to support them. I love their mission. I love what they're about. And yeah, like good on them. And so yeah, you do want to support it, even if it is a few extra dollars. I think it's
Absolutely.
100%, you know, that's what will make someone pick your brand over another brand.
Yes. How you can outperform your competitors. Yes, absolutely. So social media, networking, building this community with free seminar and webinar. To come back to social media, how do you stay consistent?
Oh, so I mean, look, I now have a digital marketing team that obviously do that. So I don't write. I have a dietitian that writes all the content. I do a last review. I have really struggled with getting on front of camera. I'm very self-critical, and even though I've got the knowledge, so like this is something that I'm constantly working on. My digital marketing team is like, we need more videos of you. And I will have these videos to do, and I will procrastinate, and I will be like, oh, I'm going to do it later today. Oh, the light's gone.
Tomorrow.
And
next week.
It's been weeks.
Yes.
And I'm still doing this, but I've hired this actually, new marketing manager, and she is all about it as well. And so she's like, okay, every Monday you are coming over and we are filming these, and I'm going to write the scripts for you. I will have the scripts ready to go. We've now got a setup, and so like it's getting done.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes you need someone like a force. Like she's literally locked in the time.
Yeah.
She has written the scripts. All I need to turn up and read it. Like so. Yeah, like that's what it is required to do that. And now we're like, okay. And I think, as they say, just do a bulk load. For me, it's going to come off being every week, and then it'll just be like, we'll do once a month, we'll do a bulk lot. Yeah, I think that's really the only way to do it. But remove all obstacles or get someone else. And the thing is, I had my digital marketing team telling me, but they weren't they weren't making me, whereas she's like, no. Like,
you do.
I'm almost scared of her.
Yes.
No, nothing gets Eloise.
So maybe for businesses who can't afford a marketing team, maybe find someone that they can be accountable, with.
Oh, yes.
Like find a peer, another mama out there, and say, okay, you do it, I do it, we do it together. Yeah.
I do. So I actually do this with my friend who owns Indoor Plant Shed. And so we're like, okay, come on, we have this chat, and we're like, okay, we both need to do it. We've just got to do it. And so we push each other. We're like, okay, cringe. But she's like, we'll do it. I think you just need to push past the cringe. Raquel Boris actually has spoken about this quite a lot, and she's become amazing at it. But yeah, just push past the cringe, get over it, let it go. We're the worst judge of ourselves.
Yes.
We are looking at everything. And also I think Lindy, the new nutritionist who I love, she has shared some stuff about, she shared some photos, and she was like, I didn't like this part of me, that part of me, but she was like, but did you guys even notice? She shared the photo, and then she shared what her thoughts were. And I was like, that is such an amazing, almost, test, is because she's like, she saw all of these things about her. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know, and realized that people are selfish, they don't really care, and they're just listening to what you have to say. They're not sitting there analyzing
exactly
what's she wearing, how do her eyebrows look, all of these things or whatever.
Yes.
I think you need to, it's just in your head. I always say, my worst issue is my head.
We're so judgmental with ourselves, and as you said, we always think, oh, they are going to judge, they are going to look, but they don't care. They're just here to listen to what you say, and that's it. They move on. They don't care about how you dress, that you didn't wash your hair. They don't know.
They really don't care. They don't care. And if they do, honestly, they've got literally, they must be so bored and nothing better. So I think we do need constant reminders. Hence why I'm listening to this book again as an audio book, because I need reminding, because I'll be on a roll, and then I'll you know, then the little demon climbs back into my head and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing?
I think someone said, I can't remember exactly what it was said, but it said success is beyond being ridiculous online or something like that. And it's so accurate. You know, once you passed this cringe moment where you're like, oh, I'm so cringe, it's terrible, and you start really not care about it, this is actually where your best work is going to come out, you know, when you don't care about judgment, about fear of being seen, when you finally, you know, embrace it, this is where your best work is going to come out, and this will bring you the audience, the reach, and the success you want.
100%. I think you just need to, just keep on doing it even when you're and it's hard, like as I said, I am such a work in progress. As I said, I've done it this week and I'll be cringing again as I do it next week, but I'll do it.
For the mom listening who knows she has something to offer but is not showing up, what would you say to her?
I would say, you know, the best day to start is yesterday, the next best day is today. The only regrets I have are not doing things faster. Like, you know, and the same goes for, like, you know, if you have a product to bring to market. The thing with like a product or an idea, someone else has probably had that same product idea or that same idea. The difference between, you know, being a success is actually actioning it. Like, you know, so you need to just take the action and not worry about perfection. Like, let go of perfection. Also, your view on perception, like perfection is different to somebody else's. So I think putting it out there, I always said, like, when I launched my business or my, you know, idea, whatever, I was like, if I didn't do this, I would, and then someone else did it, I'd be really mad at myself. Like, I'd regret it. I'd only, like, you know, so cliche, but you only regret the chance you didn't take. So I think, you know, I would have been mad. And my mum also, like, reiterated this to me. I told her and she was like, I think you'll just, if someone else came out with this, you would just be so angry at yourself. So, like, if that thought crosses your mind, then, and you're like, I should have done that, then do it.
Yes. Better to try it.
Yeah.
And even if it fails, at least you try it, then think about it for the rest of your life and regretting it, you know. It's like
100.
At least you went there 100%, you tried it. But if you're like, oh, maybe if like, it's terrible.
100%.
What would you tell your past self when you were still hesitating to be visible?
I would definitely say, like, do it quicker. Like, just do it quicker. Do it. Don't hesitate. I always say, like, hesitation kills, because I always think about, like, if you cross the road and you're like, it's coming, you hesitate. Like, I sort of feel the same way. Like, hesitation is only sort of going to delay the inevitable. I think it's almost like fail faster. So I think for me, I just wish I had not hesitated. I had not listened. Like, I wish I'd listened to myself that was telling me to push harder, rather than the side that was a bit more hesitating, or where naysayers was sort of put me off. I think sometimes, you know, I've definitely had some negative, you know, feedback before. I would just tell myself to do it and do it quicker, get it out quicker, and don't worry about it also being perfect yet, because I think there'll be so many iterations.
If there is one thing a woman founder should start and one thing she should stop doing immediately, what would it be?
Probably, like, I guess in a similar vein, probably like, don't listen to the doubt would be the one thing to do. So that's probably the stop doing. And to do would be like, just do it. Just do it. Just take the leap, take the jump. Take the jump. Take the jump.
Okay, perfect. So now what is happening for Nourishing Bubbs? Can you tell us what the future looks like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, it's a really exciting year. It's been off to a really busy start. So we've already launched a whole lot of new products. Really just, I mean, obviously the economy has made it a bit interesting, obviously being, logistics, etc. But we have got a really strong team in place, which I'm really excited about. Brought on a new marketing manager. So really focusing on continuing our finger food range. We also have some allergen product expansion, which I'm excited about. But then the really big thing for us is going to the US. So we have launched in the US, which I'm so excited about. We are now on Amazon. I mean, that's been quite the journey. But I've just got a US manufacturer, so I'm really excited about that. And I have quite a few trips like the second half of the year. So doing like a pediatric show, a baby show, and really just trying to build the awareness there, and just expand out that offering. And if it all goes well with like the allergen offering in the US, so basically the reason we've gone with the allergen offering is because it's ambient rather than frozen. Frozen adds a whole lot of logistics. Yes. But with this amazing manufacturer, I can go and do frozen if I want to. So I think we'll give it like 9 to 12 months and see how it's tracking. All going well, we would look to roll out the frozen as well. I mean, the US is just such a big opportunity. California has the same size as the whole of Australia.
Yes.
And we're already just getting a lot of interest from there.
Well, and in terms of food there are so like there is.
Oh, they have a lot to learn.
Yes, exactly. No offense, but wow. You start from zero.
It's very hard. Like, I mean, I would say that because I was like, do I need to relocate? And I had looked at relocating a few years ago, and I was like, I just don't think I can do that. Like, just the food is such a big issue for me. I'm such a healthy eater, so. But, I love the idea of some work travel. So, I've got San Diego and Los Angeles and a few places yet the end of the year. So I'm just really excited, I think, to spread the word. I mean, look, I would say I've had my company there registered for 3 years. It's been a real stop-start, but we're finally in a position, I think, where we've, sorted contract manufacturers here. It's now quite streamlined, so I can really focus a whole lot of energy on that and building it there. And we're getting the interest from the US, so it's it's a naturally great time to do it. So I'm really excited about that.
Very, very exciting things coming your way. Thank you so much, Olivia, for your time today. I love watching you and your business grow because you are such a... your energy is unmatchable, you always have a beautiful energy, and you do it with your heart, and your why and your mission is fantastic. So I can only wish you the best, and I'm sure you will get it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You'll make me cry. Thank you.
Thank you.